Up a bit, we've got a few things to do, like the axle needs to be replaced now. Nick had a fun trip home with it the other night and dropped it on the road, just cruising down the highway, so pays to have good axles, good bearings.
Certainly does.
What we're going to do is we'll replace the hubs and make sure she's all nice and new, ready to go.
Sheared our studs off on the original hubs, so we've got some replacement galvanised hubs now. We've cleaned up our stubs, and after cleaning them up and having a look, they are pretty pitted and corroded. So, which is evident when we put on our new bearing. It came in our bearing kit, all stainless steel bearings. We've got about 1 millimeters play there, so that's probably why we lost the wheel in the first place. So we've decided to pull the complete axle out, and we're going to replace that all together. We're going to use some 50mm RHS and 2 new stubs, which will be welded into either end. Pretty simple process. I must say, Tim, that helmet's a big improvement. Right, yeah. Here's our finished axle, all but painted, ready to go on. Tradesman.
Okay.
Alright, it's the moment of truth. We've got our axle home.
Just gotta make sure they're even, square.
Equal spacing. It's just a pretty simple process. Let your shackles hang over like that. It's just matter of putting it back together. So
Okie dokie.
So it's your washer, your lock washer, and your nut.
Yeah, we've gone all out. Do your job properly, eh? So we've got new axle, new shackles, new everything. So hopefully, and even we're going to have to get a couple of new tyres, save a bit of grief down the track.
Yeah. Time to pack our bearing. We put our bearing seat in, so we bashed that in. We actually used the old bearing out of there, put that in the bearing seat, and used the jack on top and hit it with a hammer and knock the bearing seat down into position. A little bit tough to get in. So now we're just going to give our bearing a quick grease and sit him in there where he belongs. Now, these are marine bearings for marine trailers, obviously, boat trailers. So there's 2 parts to them. There's your traditional bearing seal, and we've also got a rubber seal that goes into our bearing seal. Good marine grease. That's it. This is a high temperature grease as well, so you get plenty of miles out of it. So this is just our bearing seal. Just gently tap this in. Right, so we'll just fill this up with grease in here, because that's what stops your water getting through. Get as much grease as you sort of can into that rim, little gap in there. Now here's the little trick with our super glue. Run some glue on the inside here. So if we just run a little bit of, only a tiny bit of glue is needed into our seal, and that way it will stay in there, stay in position a lot better. The fun part, we're packing our hub with grease. So what we'll do, we'll just, with our finger, just completely fill this with grease. So we've got that pretty well full now. So again, we've got our bearing seat that must go in first. So we'll whack our bearing seat in.
Just got to pull it on now with the nut, eh?
There we go.
Just line your hole up. Okay, so just line her up for your split pin. There you go.
Knock it through. Split your split pin.
Okay, just put your split pins around the side, and then we can put our grease cap over the top, and we're all done.
Bit of gentle persuasion. Put another reserve of grease in. Our grease cap. I need a little bit. just ever so lightly tap in your grease kit.
Give it to it, belt her in. What's the bottom like, alright, yeah?
Yeah, good. Now, moment of truth.
Will it spin?
And it does.
Feel alright?
Feels good.
Alright. Hey, well done, mate.
Halfway. Nearly there.
And here she is all done with the nice new galvanised wheels and new truck tyres.